Hi there, nice to meet you. I'm Stephanie. I wanted to take a few minutes today to just sort of explain what yin yoga is. Yin as in Y-I-N. Might be something that you've seen on a schedule somewhere, or maybe you've even gone to a class before. So I just wanted to explain and also give a sample of what the style of yoga is. So yin is opposite yang, and yang is the type of class that you maybe normally have gone to, a yoga class that involves a lot of movement and flow and energy, and yin is the opposite, which involves a more calm or quiet practice. So whereas the yang practice is more active, the yin practice is very inactive. And one of the primary differences is that when you're taking a yoga class, your class that involves movement, an active class, you're generally working on the muscles, on lengthening, strengthening, and stretching them. And in a yin class, it's the opposite, where you are not actively working anything at all, and you're in fact trying to relax the body completely and allowing the body to, on its own, just allow itself to sort of lengthen and relax. So whereas an active practice focuses on actively stretching or working on the muscles, a yin practice instead, or a quieter practice, focuses on stretching the deep connective tissue that surrounds your joints. So I thought we would just take a few poses to have an idea of what is the difference and how this might look for you. So in general, yin yoga is a really nice thing to practice if you're looking for a quieter or more mental practice. And if you also are somebody who is very, very active, it might be really nice to stretch out the body and take a little bit more time with it than you would in a regular yoga class or when you move quickly. It is not really excellent for people who are already highly flexible or mobile, or for people who are dancers or things of the such who already have very loose joints, but rather maybe more beneficial for those people who are a little tighter. As someone who runs and lifts weights a lot, I am one of those people who that would be beneficial for. So when you're in a yoga class, or when you're taking an active stretch, you're generally instructed to find some length, and then as you exhale to come forward, in a forward fold, for example, you want to make sure in a class or in your regular practice that your legs are connected to the ground, feet are coming up to the ceiling, so that you have a really nice active stretch underneath the legs here. So in a yin pose, something that you might hold for a couple of minutes, depending on your ability and comfort, a forward fold would look much different. So instead of that active stretch, you might just give your toes a little wiggle or legs a soft wiggle. And then you would just allow the body to start slowly coming forward. So allowing on the exhale the body to relax, upper body. Again, you might wiggle the toes, making sure that they're nice and loose. And you'll notice that none of the body is active or stretching here. Rather, you're allowing on your exhales or with your breath, your body to just sort of guide itself with a flow or force of gravity towards the ground. And when I say body, I mean possibly the upper body, as the farther that you come towards the lower body, the deeper stretch that you'll feel. But you might not be feeling a whole bunch or a whole deep stretch. And the idea is not to feel or be actively stretching anything, rather to allow the body to naturally settle into a place where you do feel a stretch, but isn't anything that's of course painful. So for purposes of time, you would maybe normally hold here for another minute or two, but I'd like to show you another example. So in a wide-legged stretch, what you would do is, rather than finding an active stretch and keeping the feet up to the ceiling, is you would bring the legs apart as far as is comfortable. And then you would go ahead and grab the skin and lift it up in a way, sliding it away from or underneath from the sit bones here. That helps change the tilt of your pelvis. And the legs will come out as far as they comfortably can. You'll know when you need to stop. So again, rather than finding an active stretch here that lengthens the muscles and will be a very deep inner thigh stretch for many of you, you want to relax the toes again, relax the body, and then you'll slowly allow the body to come forward. And it's, in general, in yin yoga, you're not using any props or anything like that. You're just allowing the body to work in its own way. But if that makes it more comfortable for you, and it's best for you to have a pillow or blanket or something underneath or a block, that's fine. So here you're nice and relaxed. And what you want to find as far as a stretch is you're always looking for an edge in a yin yoga pose. So what I'm feeling right now as far as a stretch in my inner thighs or underneath my hamstrings is probably about 70% of my capacity. I know I could go much further and find a deeper stretch, but right now I'm at about 70%, a really good stretch, but I'm not at my maximum. So as I continue talking and we're to sit here for much longer, eventually I'd be able to come forward further. And again, for you, you might already be lying flat on the ground, or you might just need to stay here. It's all about listening to your body. So as time goes on and as the body adjusts to its position, you'll allow, or your body will allow yourself to find a little bit more space or a little bit more letting go, if you will. So probably been sitting here for about a minute or so and wanting to find my edge again. Since I've lost it, I'm going to come forward again, and I want to find that 70, 80, 85%, maybe for some of you 90, depending on what feels okay. And you'll notice here that my arms are actively supporting me. So that's something that you want to be careful of, is you want to make sure the whole body is relaxed in order for it to kind of completely let go. So I'm comfortable coming down to my elbows, so I'll do that. If you were comfortable just staying up here with your hands supporting you, that's okay. But you do want to allow the body to be pretty relaxed. So finding that place that's your 70, 80, 85, or maybe more %, you're allowing the body to relax. If the elbows are to the ground and the head might just slightly hang. You're always making sure the shoulders are relaxed from the ears, and you're just taking a few breaths. So you are still conscious of the breath in this practice and allowing the breath to enter and exit through the nose. And as you were to continue on throughout a practice, however many minutes you might remain in a certain position or in other types of yin poses, you might start to let your mind wander and get distracted, as is totally normal. So bringing your body or your attention, bringing your attention awareness back to the breath and the body, how it feels and how the breath is moving, and paying attention to the in-breath and the out-breath, allowing the belly to rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale, is a really nice way to help keep your focus during the quiet practice. So the other thing to keep in note is that when you leave from a yin pose, you want to move nice and slow. There's no rush here, and you've had quite a bit of time where the body has adjusted to a certain position, so you might just slowly bring the legs back together, and you might want to sit for a moment just in peace, or maybe you want to bring a little movement to the legs, whatever is most comfortable for you. I like to have a little bit of movement. And you also want to have as much sort of as little movement as possible and as much calm as possible in between each yin pose that you do. So just for purposes of time, I wanted to share a few of those, or a little bit of information about what yin yoga is, what the poses are like, to give you an idea. It's also good to keep in mind and know ahead of time that yin practice is a quiet practice that involves very little movement, which is quite opposite a regular practice. And knowing ahead of time that there'd be a lot of quiet time is definitely something that's important to know. So hopefully you found something useful out of the last few minutes, and hope you enjoy your day. Thanks.